Epstein. I didn't believe this at first when I actually read this a couple of days ago, but I was like, there's no way. But no, hold on, way. It appears it's actually happening. A federal judge has just ruled that they are going to unseal 150 names from Jeffrey Epstein's list. This can happen as early as January 1st. Hold on to your seats, get your popcorn. We're going to talk about this. And then I'm going to make this connection to what was just announced in reference to the Diddy case and why I think there could be a connection there in reference to Epstein. Let's get into it.
Alleged sex trafficker, rapist, dead, Jeffrey Epstein. Ended his life in jail, right? Some believe there's some conspiracy, whatever. The official word is that he hanged himself in 2019 before the trial began. Or did somebody kill him because they didn't want their name out there? It's a conspiracy theory. Today, we learn the names of 177 of Jeffrey Epstein's friends, recruiters, and victims will be revealed in court documents unsealed at the start of a new year. What does this mean? Let's bring in high-profile criminal defense attorney Mark Garagos. I got to tell you, the more straight-line analysis on this is what Dusty just sent me about the D.C. madam and her list of clients being released. Now, that's something that I get why people wouldn't want their name exposed, that they're on that list. But here, why do we know that these people must all be bad people?
You know, it's interesting that this question is coming from Chris Cuomo, because Chris Cuomo, again, remember, he was accused of sexually harassing his own coworkers. It's really weird. You know, I don't know if he's the best person to do this story. I don't know. I just feel a little bit weird about it.
Well, I wouldn't say that they're all bad people. I think a number of the people who are named here, at least based on what the judge's order says, were complaining witnesses or victims or just Confederates, for lack of a better term. But I think it's obvious to me that there is an interest here and that there are people who are going to be named who don't want to be named. Mind you, there has been litigation already surrounding this over people who did not want to have their names revealed. And clearly, I think that the timing of this is going to be such that it's going to be grist for the mill of people who do have a lot of conspiracies. I mean, I have read no less, as I'm sure you have, than 3 or 4 different theories as to the deaths surrounding this and the prosecutions surrounding this and the suspicious timing surrounding the death and the filings. And
but it's become such a scarlet letter.
It just perpetuates this.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please.
Okay. So it's kind of interesting. He said it becomes such a scarlet letter. I mean, I don't understand why Chris Cuomo would have a problem with. I told you I didn't think he was the best person to cover the story, but I want to get to this point from Dion. What about the redacted names? So that's another point I was going to mention. It appears that 3 names will remain sealed. Now, I don't know who those 3 people could be, but I'll let you guys make a guess in the chat. Who do you think those 3 names are? And it must be someone very important, high profiled, if those names are going to remain sealed. And that's not justice. Told you we have an injustice system. Their names are protected because of who they are, so they don't have to be punished for their crimes. I want to go into this clip here that says we'll never know all the answers from Jeffrey Epstein's case. Let's get into this as well.
Joining us right now, Republican Representative Tim Burchett of Tennessee. I know you're passionate about this. You've been pushing to unseal these documents. My question is why?
Well, I got involved with it. I'm disgusted with the whole thing, the supposed suicide, the cover up. It's just down the line. My colleague, Senator Marsha Blackburn, dear friend of mine, she was denied that in the Senate. I think Dick Durbin did it. I believe was the chairman, subpoena those records. You know, what they're releasing right now, the flight records are one thing. What we want is the client list. I think that's what you need. This complete cover up of the uniparty, as we call it in Washington. You know, You've got Republicans and Democrats on that thing. And if they're dirt bags, I say put them out. Put them out
And he said, if they're dirt bags, put them out.
there. Let them put them in the court of public opinion, because those people, dadgummit, this thing has just gone on too long. And this is what they do. They drag this thing out.
Yep.
This was you or me, it'd be on the front page of the paper and every paper in the country, but it's not. It's the elite in this country, in this world. And they call the shots, and they call the shots in our legal system as well as the Congress of the United States of America.
There is a whole other world. I mean, if you think about it, there are a million ecosystems across the country and around the globe that you'd have to be inside to really understand. Is the name of someone on these client lists or the flight logs, which you've asked for as well, is it guilt by association, or is it merely that you want full transparency? Because just because somebody engaged or interacted with him, does that make them guilty of anything?
No, and it could be business clients. There could be business retreats on this island. It doesn't necessarily mean they went over there for sex with underage girls. But I do believe that they should be put out there and then let them make their case for it. That's why I'm not so concerned with the flight logs. Mm-hmm. I want the little black book. Why is this being held back? It's been well over a year since Epstein was allowed to die, however he did die. That's still a question. I still have a question in my mind. The most talked about prisoner in the country, possibly the world at that time. And just so happens the cameras broke and his guards weren't watching him at that time. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot to be answered in this whole thing. It's a cover up. We'll never know all the answers because, our judicial system, our Justice Department, in my opinion, is compromised. And this is just another example of them proving that.
Well, a lot of people would say our justice system has been politicized. Do you think that Jeffrey Epstein has become any part of a distraction? I mean, he is not the only wealthy, connected man on the planet who had unsavory connections, who had a sex island. Has he become somewhat of a catch-all for the violence and for the just criminality of a whole network of people who are still living today?
I think the thing is, the reason why there's more focus on Jeffrey Epstein is because he had so many connections with powerful people. And not just other people in business or finance, but we're talking about politicians. We're talking about royalty. Right? He had connections with Prince Andrew. He had connections with so many powerful people in powerful positions, and people with a lot of money, man. And I think that's why the focus is so much on him. However, to her point, no, he's not the only one. And we're going to get into one of them right after this, because I believe there is a connection between deciding to release 150 names on that list and what was just revealed yesterday about the Diddy case.
Yes, ma'am. I think partially, but also it just shows the disconnect that these people have with the rest of us, and how they think they can flaunt the laws of our laws and laws of nature, for that matter. Just the perversion of these folks with having sex with minors, to me, is enough. They need to be locked up and thrown. I mean, I proposed in Tennessee the death penalty, and it actually passed, but it was thrown out as unconstitutional. So I just think we need to get this out there. I think these folks need to be exposed, and and if they're Republicans, if they're Democrats, so be it. I'm sick of it. There should be no cover up. They should have nowhere to hide.
Representative Tim Burchett.
It should not matter what political affiliation you have. It shouldn't matter what political party you belong to. Like, this is just wrong. So there should be no focus on that. The focus should be on the crime and what was done, and making sure that those women receive some kind of justice other than a check. That's how I look at it. As long as those people are out there, they could still be continuing those crimes just through someone else. So you got Jeffrey Epstein. That doesn't mean that this stopped. It didn't stop. In fact, we talked about the story a couple of weeks ago about Cassie and Diddy. Now, Cassie was an R&B singer. Everybody knows Diddy, rapper, producer, but I don't think he's a great rapper. We can talk about that another time. At one point, they were in a relationship, etc. And she came out recently saying that she was a part of a human trafficking ring that Diddy had. Now, later on, we found out they settled that really quick. It was only a couple of days. And the next thing you know, the next report was that Diddy has decided to settle with Cassie, right? So in a civil way, there's going to be lump sum pay. However, it appears that even though Cassie decided to take the settlement, she has not decided to not release the documentation that she has. In fact, it could not just incriminate Diddy, but other people as well, including a pastor. Let's get into it. This is from Misha. It says, TD Jakes did what? Wait for it.
Anything, this is allegedly. Ain't nobody gonna catch me slipping, okay? Okay. So allegedly, Cassie has turned over evidence to the feds. Yes, to the feds. She has turned over videotapes, a USB drive, and Kim Porter's burner phone. Now, there is also an alleged email out saying a plethora of other things that include TD Jakes with Diddy. I'm gonna let y'all listen to it. I'm not finna say nothing else.
Says here, yo, bro, Cassie has turned over substantial amounts of evidence to the feds. I'm told that after Cassie had a long conversation with Blank, I have to protect this person. They're going through a lot right now. And her lawyers, she finally was convinced to give up the videotapes and audio recordings that contain footage of S parties and other private gatherings that feature some pretty powerful and prominent people.
Let me pause here. I want to just reiterate, she has turned documentation over to the feds.
And get this, she even gave up a burner phone and USBs that belong to Kim Porter with incriminating evidence against Diddy.
Pause. For those who don't know who this is, Kim Porter was Diddy's baby's mama. They were in a relationship at one point in time. They never married. Diddy said he never wanted to get married. He couldn't be committed to one person. That's what he said. To each their own. But think about that for a minute. But they had twins together. She died rather oddly, just kind of came out of nowhere. So I wanted to say that to you so you understand like what they're talking about when they say like there was a burner phone with incriminating evidence against Diddy.
I'm told that there are a slew of artists, politicians, and entertainers that are about to be exposed and arrested for H10. I'm paraphrasing there, okay? H10. I'm told that Cassie's husband played a significant role in getting Cassie to turn over the evidence. It's to my understanding that Cassie felt that by exposing the truth, it would also make her look like a filthy Moor, and I'm paraphrasing there because some of the videos she turned in, it shows her getting number one, okay, guys? I'm paraphrasing again, and committing more disgusting acts that she was forced to do.
So in these documents, there's also video footage. So apparently Diddy, either he recorded this or other people recorded it, but she has video evidence.
I'm also told that multiple male escorts corroborated the fact that TD Jakes have slept with multiple men at Diddy's parties and abroad, and they refer to him as being a power bottom. Wow. It's also been said that a young male has acquired a lawyer to represent him as he is set to sue Jakes for an incident that took place when he was just years old. It's been said that the young man was forced to perform sloppy toppy, and I'm paraphrasing here, guys. You can actually put two and two together to understand what I'm trying to say. It's been said that the man's family were members of the Potter's house, but left the church in 2015. According to multiple church insiders, the parents were paid off to keep quiet. The guy's a grown man now and is seeking his own justice.
Let me pause here for a second. For those who don't know, TD Jakes, famous pastor, has written several books. He's a pastor of a mega church, kind of like Cleft Lil Dollar as well. So one of the allegations, I guess, that Cassie is releasing as well is the fact that TD Jakes was apparently a part of this sex trafficking ring or whatever of Diddy's, which also included a minor, according to this. Again, allegedly. This is not good, people.
It's been said that the young man doesn't even deal with his parents even to this day because they took hush money. According to Pastor Blank, and I have to protect this pastor, Bishop Jakes is about to get railroaded and all of his dirt will be exposed. That's why the bishop has quietly lawyered up He sees his fall from grace coming.
Just don't look good for nobody. And when I say nobody, I mean nobody. Hollywood is being turned upside down. Jeffrey Epstein's list is going to come out. If this is actually true, this list is going to come out. And we already know TD Jakes is caught up with the other shit, allegedly being the person that is messing with Christian Keys. Everybody's saying it's either allegedly TD Jakes or allegedly Tyler Perry. It's either one of them. But oh my God, if this is true, buckle up, because next year, 2024, y'all better get y'all bingo cards out, because it's going to get real.
Now, who's to say, or how do we not know that these two situations aren't connected? Think about the timing. The fact that this list of this Epstein list is going to be released as early as January 1st. And then Cassie, even after having that settlement with Diddy, she still decided to release the documents to the feds. So what we could potentially see is some type of overlap here. Was Diddy on that plane? Was TD Jakes on that plane? I don't know. I don't have evidence to say that it happened, but look at the timing. And 2024 is going to be wild. Just wait for it, folks. Wait for it. I don't know. It's all coming out now. A lot of things are being revealed. And Cassie's friend also came forward with some things to say too. She now also has a witness coming forward as well. So Diddy, you might have settled with Cassie, but Cassie is not done with you.
Music mogul and rapper Sean Diddy Combs has faced 4 different lawsuits in recent weeks alleging sexual assault and abuse, all of which he has denied. The first of those came from singer Cassie Ventura, known as Cassie, who accused Combs of sexual abuse and sex trafficking during the decade they were together. NBC's entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas spoke exclusively to a longtime friend of Cassie's who said she witnessed some troubling incidents. Chloe?
Good evening, Ellison. Singer-songwriter, activist Tiffany Red had been working with Cassie on an album when she first met Diddy and says that she witnessed him verbally abusing her friend. Following Cassie's settlement with Diddy, Red penned an open letter in Rolling Stone about her experience. She spoke to me about the events that she says traumatized her.
I don't think people understand what it's like to be traumatized by somebody famous and rich, because you can't get away from them.
Tiffany Red has written for the likes of Zendaya, Jason Derulo, and Jennifer Hudson. In 2015, she became friends with Cassie while writing songs for her album. At that point, Cassie and Diddy had been together for nearly 8 years. In a lawsuit Cassie filed last month, she detailed the abuse she says Diddy committed, including physical assault. Red says although she did not know about the alleged physical assault while working with Cassie, she did witness verbal abuse on more than one occasion, one of which took place during Cassie's 29th birthday in 2015. Red says Diddy showed up at karaoke where Cassie and a group of friends were celebrating.
So he had her back into the corner and he was like cussing her out with his hand in her face.
Later that night, Red, who was staying at Cassie's home, says she awoke to screaming.
He's standing in the living room area and she's there and he was like, emotional singing, there you are. And I just was like, oh, he's talking to me. And I remember, I don't know if you know what his voice sounds like, but I felt like I was in the presence of his monster inside. And I remember looking in his eyes and I said to him, what did y'all do? Because I could see that she was really sedated. That was the first time I ever seen her high before. And then he says, tell your girl she wants some birthday. And we were like, well, I mean, he's saying this to me, and I'm like, well, she doesn't have to have sex with you if she doesn't want to. He was upset, I guess that she didn't want to do with him whatever he wanted. I don't know. I don't feel like I could advocate for myself in that moment. I realized oh, this guy is dangerous.
Red says it was only a few months ago that Cassie told her what was really going on that night in 2015, that it all stemmed from the music executive wanting her to take part in what he called a freak-off against her will.
What did Cassie tell you about these freak-offs?
Now, I'll tell you this much. When I lived in New York, I heard rumors about Diddy back then. This was years ago. I was in my early 20s, And I heard rumors that Diddy used to have these sex parties. Now, keep in mind, I didn't know that meant anything in reference to human trafficking, which is what one of the things that Cassie is speaking about. But I had heard the rumors that he used to have these wild, crazy sex parties, whatever. I didn't know anybody was being held against their will. I didn't know anybody was being forced to do something that they obviously did not consent to. And I definitely did not know anything about no human trafficking part. So it just, when she talks about the attitude that Diddy had, it does kind of remind me of something, though. If you go back and you watch Making the Band, start with the Danity Kane one. Don't start with Dylon, all right? And they went to go get like a cheesecake in Brooklyn. But if you look at the season where Danity Kane comes together, look at the way he used to talk to the women. That was something I always paid attention to. Like, I was just like, why is he speaking to them like that? Like, I felt like he did not have a lot of respect for the women, especially when it came to their physical appearance. Some of the things that he said on that show, I don't think he would get away with saying today on a reality show, thinking back on it. So just FYI.
You know, that he would hire these like sex workers and like they would have, you know, sex with her or whatever, and he would watch and tell them what to do.
In her lawsuit, Cassie alleges she was forced to participate in freak-offs throughout her relationship with Diddy. Red learning recently one horrific detail from Cassie.
She told me the only time he was willing to do anything or work on her music, go through any plans, any of that, was when she had a freak off. So all of our music, all my work, to find out that like I spent all these years writing these songs for him to rape my friend to, like, is just disgusting.
In the lawsuit, Cassie detailed the physical abuse she says Diddy committed, including an instance where she was put in a hotel room for days to heal. Red says Cassie recently told her about Diddy giving her a black eye before the premiere of her 2016 film, The Perfect Match.
I remember one time her telling me that, I think it might have been The Perfect Match, that movie that she was in, and she told me that she had a black eye under her makeup.
Do you believe Diddy is a dangerous person?
Yes, I do.
Why?
I mean, look at his rap sheet.
An attorney for Cassie declined to comment. Diddy's attorney did not respond. In 2015, Diddy was arrested on 3 counts of assault with a deadly weapon and other charges for allegedly beating up his son's football coach. Prosecutors declined to file felony charges related.
You guys hearing this stuff? He beat up his son's football coach. Why? Like, who just gets away with that? Failed to file charge. Like, what?
To that arrest. 24 hours after Cassie filed her lawsuit, she and Diddy announced that they had reached an undisclosed settlement. Combs released a statement saying, "We have decided to resolve this matter amicably. I wish Cassie and her family all the best." His lawyer adding that the settlement was, quote, "in no way an admission of wrongdoing."
I mean, I just feel like it's PR. He's settled because he doesn't want to go to court.
Diddy's music career spans 3 decades, including 3 Grammy Awards and the creation of Bad Boy Records, representing artists from Mary J. Blige to the late Notorious B.I.G. In September, he was awarded MTV's Global Icon Award. But since the allegations surfaced, Hulu scrapped a reality series about his family, and the Recording Academy said they are considering to rescind his invite to this year's Grammys.
You know, I think a lot of people, especially in the Black community, are, you know, I've seen the narrative of like, you know, they just trying to take a Black man down, and it's just like, that's not what this is about. That's not what this is about. This is about accountability and a reckoning. Like, that's just the bottom line.
As for
because I've had people tell me that too, and I'm like, no. Listen, Cassie says she has documents that she's passed over to the feds. That'll reveal all. And I'm pretty sure it may take other people down too. So get ready for that. But I believe I would not be surprised if this Diddy trafficking ring and this Epstein trafficking ring, I would not be surprised if at some point or another it did not cross paths. Honey, And then they mentioned Bad Boy, and that was the funny part to me, because when I think about Bad Boy Records, I think about all these one-hit wonders, because Diddy was not that great of a producer in reference to sustaining a career for an artist. They would come out with that one album, and it would be a great hit, and you never hear from these peeps again. What happened to Total? Someone go bring back Craig Mack. What happened to all these people? Mary J. Blige was the only one to have a long-lasting career. The rest of them, or they were killed, like Biggie. We'll see if this is all connected, guys. We'll see. Let me go to the comments. We are going to do call-in tonight. Valerie says 3 names remaining unsealed. Someone in office, probably in close to the White House, U.S. House, Senate, or a SCOTUS judge. They're capable of anything unethical as hell. Thank you for the super chat, Dwayne. Epstein worked for Mossad. They wanted dirt of a sexual nature on every U.S. politician. We're going to talk about it tonight, guys. Thank you for the super chat, Dijon. Bibi Netanyahu could be one of 2. JB says, question, is this why some people also wouldn't speak out against Israel, because Mossad knows all this? Why didn't Tyler Perry speak out? He's a billionaire and not bound by Hollywood. Ooh, good questions. And Robert says, Dylon. That's how Dylon, if you guys haven't seen Making the Band, like that's what we're making fun of Dylon, because Dylon used to be like, I am Dylon. And Diddy was like, I want you to walk to Brooklyn and go get me a cheesecake. And they did that shit. Hell no, I ain't walking to no damn Brooklyn. That's a long ass walk.